know what everybody loves? Rocket launchers. I mean, what's not to love? Big bada boom explosions. But can something like the Kuva Ogris compete? In 2024, where incarnate weapons reign supreme? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be re-diving deeper into the Kuva Ogris. As per the usual, we'll have an introductory level setup and an endgame setup as well. That said though, please bear in mind that my builds and guides usually take a more new player friendly tone, simply because I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So in case you're a veteran and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Kuva Ogris. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. The Kuva Ogris is a very simple and straightforward weapon. This, my friends, is a full-blown rocket launcher, and what do rocket launchers do? They launch rockets, and upon contact, these will be exploding in a massive 7.9 meter radius. But hold your horses, because the damage drop-off is also staggering at a massive 80%. Here's a bit of a tip about the brand new simulacrum. You see over there, there's a door, you hit this with void energy, and the door, boom, opens up. And inside, my friends, obviously the greatest secret since Warframe's history. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Getting back to the Kuva Ogris, however, your magazine capacity is set at 3 and the magazine reserve at 7. So in total, you're looking at 10 rockets, and then basically you're done. Now, this being a Kuva weapon, you will have to choose a progenitor. My recommendation for you fantastic people is to go with heat, because heat will help with Nightwatch napalm as well. More on that just a tad later. But let's have a closer look at stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Mod capacity on this one is going to be set to 80 out of 80 once you max it all out. That is because this is a Kuva weapon, and like Tenno weapons, it has the over-leveling trait. Increase this weapon's max rank by +2 with Forma up to 5 times for a possible max rank of 40. And if you factor in the Orkin Catalyst, which doubles your mod capacity, that's how you get to 80 out of 80. If you want to suck out all the mastery points possible out of the weapon, you will have to Forma it 5 times. That said, is it worth investing in the Kuva Ogris? If you're looking for one of the absolute best weapons in the game, this is definitely not it. Link in the cards right now for a full top 10 best weapons in the game right now. However, this one might pop up on the Archimedea, so it's still worth knowing exactly how to go about it. Also, I'm going to be using the Unreal Tournament skin on this one. This was offered to us for free, and then you could purchase it. I honestly have no idea if you can still get this absolutely amazing skin for the weapon. For a progenitor, we went for heat. This is a 57% roll with a fire rate of 1.5, magazine of 3. If you want to see the reload time, ammo maximum, and ammo from pickups, you gotta hover over the magazine nowadays. Reload time is key here, 2.1 seconds. Accuracy is gonna be very high, and you can also see the deviation by hovering over the accuracy. Trigger will be semi-automatic, and the Riven disposition set to 2 out of 5, which is terrible, because this is the worst Riven disposition you can get, being at the edge of Warframe. If you wanna factor in a crit build for the Ogris, you're gonna have to leverage Rivens as well, so bear that one in mind. Critical chance is abysmal at 9% by default. Critical multiplier is 2x. As for the status, is 47%, which might lead you to believe that, hey, this is actually a pretty good status chance, but you gotta bear in mind how many damage instances are you putting into your target, how quickly, so the status chance isn't really all that fantastic. The damage layout that you see here will be affected by Valence Fusion, aka how lucky you were with the roll and what element did you chose. You can always use Valence Fusion to increase that bonus up to a maximum of 60%. Now, you shouldn't really pay much attention to this damage number right here. This is the projectile making contact with a target. 97% of your damage will be coming from the actual explosion, the 7.9 meter range with the 80% damage drop-off. By default, you're looking at puncture, slash, and blast damage. On top of this, your progenitor's bonus will apply, which is a huge increase from the regular Ogris, which only had blast damage. Now let's have a look at a standard introductory level build. Damage acceleration, multi-shot with split chamber, and vigilante armaments. No critical chance, no critical damage. Now, it is possible to build a Kuva Ogris into critical chance and critical damage, but it will imply a couple of mods that most new players don't really have, and Arcane Avenger as well. You can also use Citrine, however. Nightwatch napalm. Now, a whole lot of players love this one, but it's not really all that powerful. Rockets disperse napalm, inflicting 30% damage over 6 seconds across 90% of the explosion area. There are a couple of things that you need to understand about this mod. First of all, the damage output can only be increased by base damage mods, for example Serration or Heavy Caliber. It can also be increased by faction mods for Bane of the Corpus Grineer or whatever else. The damage can also be increased by the Kuva weapon's bonus damage stat, So in our case, it's definitely smart to go for heat. So you see, if you factor all of these in, it's not really all that fantastic. It's not going to be able to do critical chance or critical damage either. As for the status chance, it's fixed in place at 68% chance to proc, ticking for 50% of napalm's damage per second for 3 seconds. Plus status chance mods will not affect this. However, what you can do is go for status duration, which will increase the duration of the heat proc. We're also going to be forming Corrosive on the weapon with the 290 mod, Stormbringer, and Infected Clip. This is a build meant to fight the Murmur, and against the Murmur, you're going to need Corrosive and Radiation, which is why we have Radiated Reload on the weapon, 60% Radiation and 40% reload speed. That brings down your reload from 2.1 all the way down to 1.5 seconds. In the Excellent slot, if you can afford this one, Cautious Shot, just in case your Warframe can't handle knockback, so if you're not using something like a Rhino or a Revenant, for example. We're going to be spawning in the battle group for the Murmur. Essentially, this is a varied selection of Murmur targets meant to give you a more realistic simulation of what will happen in-game, where you will not just meet like a full pack of corrupted heavy goons. Now let's see what the weapon can do. Take a look at all those glorious Nightwatch napalm procs. Now, they may not hit for a lot, but they are pretty to watch. Especially if you guys got HDR, turn it on, it looks absolutely amazing. You see my problem though, damage is not a concern. AoE fashion even. My problem is the ammunition. I had to actually pick up ammo or else I would have been bone dry. How can I counteract that? There's a couple of ways. First of all, in the Excellent slot, you can unequip Cautious Shot and go for Vigilante supplies instead. Or what you can also do is use Carrier together with Ammo Case. This concludes the new player portion of the guide. What follows next is for the more advanced Warframe player. But even if you are not that advanced, you're still new to the game, you should still stick around because you will learn a thing or two. But my friends, this is what we'll do. We'll do a crit build for the Ogris, simply because I'm tired of building the Ogris the exact same bloody way. Base crit on this one is freaking terrible, but you can still build crit if you have Arcane Avenger, or if you want to pair it up with something like a Citrine. Critical delay on this one, and we also got a Riven, critical chance, critical damage multi-shot, and minus damage to Infested. Oh boo, freaking who, the Infested, who cares? This is not gonna be enough, however. Obviously not, because your critical chance is still at 36.5%, while the multiplier is good. Enter Arcane Avenger with 45% bonus additive after simply stacking on top of what you already have. Now you might have noticed something, there's no flat damage on this build. You're gonna be getting it from Merciless. You need at least a source, if not 2 sources of flat damage on basically any build. Galvanized Aptitude unfortunately is a no-go simply because the damage benefit will not be applying to the explosion, which again accounts for like 97-98% of your total damage. Now with Avenger on, 45% plus 37%, that's like 80-something% critical chance, which means we are going to be using Hunter Munitions. For Hunter Munitions, we're going to need Vital. We're not going to use the weapon to apply Vital, instead we're going to be going through the Diriga. Now for a second, just so you can understand fully the difference in performance between the initial build and this build, we're gonna spawn the exact same targets with the exact same modifiers. I mean, bro. That's highly different. But of course, shooting level 80s with an endgame build is kind of pointless. So what we're gonna be doing, bumping up this level to the maximum that I can, 205, and also enabling those fantastic Steel Path modifiers. Because at the end of the day, this is what most players consider the endgame in Warframe. Take a look at that. You are able to clear house in Steel Path level 200 with the Kuva Ogris. Now granted, it did get a lot of help from the little Sentinel with the priming, with the Vital and everything, and of course Arcane Avenger with that 45% additive after crit. But the point is, it does work. That's one way to make the Kuva Ogris work. Another way would be to remove the enemy's defenses with something like a Hildren, for example, and then just simply blow them up. So anyway, I started blasting, and as you can see, the weapon is fully capable of one-shotting base-level Steel Path enemies without any issue whatsoever. Or better said, base-level Steel Path Murmur enemies. This is a survival because I got the density necessary to keep up my ammo. More on ammo issues just a tad later. But when it comes to base level Steel Path performance, there is nothing stopping you from clearing the entire Steel Path star chart with a weapon such as this one. Ammo has been an issue. While I can deal with the Demolist with the brand new Armatus game modes, well, refreshed, better said, the problem is I kinda consistently run out of ammo on that one. Now I can switch to something like a Carrier and its ammo case, but that will mean I'm losing my Diriga primer. And then again, you can also drop pads at the end of the day. Even if it is Steel Path, you will be limited though to 1 every, what was it, 2 minutes or something of the sort. Now that's one annoying factor. Another annoying factor is that if I use Vigilante supplies in the Exilus slot, then I can knock myself back because I don't have Cautious Shot. Of course, this will be a non-issue for something like a Revenant or a Rhino. If you use Cautious Shot in the Exilus slot, then, well, you have more ammo issues, so it's a bit of a give and take. That said, if you are playing Wisp, there's a very easy way to be immune to those knockbacks. Simply double tap 2, you go invulnerable, and you don't care anymore. Think he's coming. Here he is. Right there, I think. Wait, where'd he go? I think he's there. Or here? Here. Stop moving! Did I get him? I got him. And that's pretty much gonna do it. It's time to draw some conclusions for the Kuva Ogris. Is it worth building in 2024 using in Steel Path, especially against the brand new faction, and of course in the brand new game modes as well? And the answer would be, hold on, I got an acolyte here somewhere. Yes, definitely, you do have that performance. However, it does come with 2 big caveats. As you can see, I absolutely annihilated Misery. That was a single shot in that acolyte. However, the first major annoyance is this one, the knockback. And of course you can get around it with a Revenant or a Rhino or a mod. It really depends on what your preference is. However, it's still something that should be pointed out. You need to account for it. And the other major annoyance will be ammunition. You might run bone dry on ammo, especially if you choose not to go for carrier and ammo case. Again, you can get around it with pads every once in a while, but it's still something that will hamstring you in gameplay if you don't take it into account. As far as performance is concerned, this is more than plenty again for a Steel Path, base level Steel Path, and a little bit above that. So if playing with a rocket launcher is your jam, then definitely go for the Kuva Ogris. I fully recommend it. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback for me, let me know in the comment section down below. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content and you want to help me keep making it, consider supporting us via Patreon. There's gonna be a link in the upper right portion of the screen right about now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.